Hi friends, welcome back to Frosty Eye Candy. So with our 51st video, I'm just going to jump straight in with the dried results. So as you can see, she dried beautifully. After the success of the bloom flower on a bloom vine, I wanted to try it on a black background. And as you can see, it dried beautifully. And I was going for a flower, but as you can see, we have an almost perfect butterfly. So that's why I called it Bloom Butterfly on a Bloom Vine. So how did I get to this? Let me run through the colors with you. So first off, the pillow that I made was my pouring medium, regular Bear and Joe Sonia, but I added acrylic, standards acrylic. This is the Amsterdam, and this one is oxide black. But to add some extra definition and depth, I'll see if the camera can pick it up. There is actually sparkles in the paint here. Obviously I'm just waiting for this to cure nicely so I can get a coat of resin on it, and then I think it will look spectacular. But yes, the standard acrylics, Amsterdam standard acrylics, oxide black with the Rustoleum glitter to give that nice sparkly background. So that's the background. Now the vine, very similar to the vine in video number 50. We're starting with the Rustoleum gold mine, the metallic accents. This is a great opaque tube paint as such to start off with and to let our piggies hold up. Then we are using, again, the s'mores by This Little Piggy. Here we go, s'mores. Beautiful dark brown with a shimmer to it, golden shimmer to it. Absolutely beautiful. And then we are adding the Seaweed by TLP. Here you go, Seaweed. Beautiful kind of green color with a gold shimmer to it. And this is making the vine, obviously, friends. And then we're using, again, the same, the Asparagus from TLP, the lovely light green with a golden shimmer to it. And then just for fun, because I had a little mixed up, I thought I'd throw in some Comet. There you go, the interference red, kind of goldy red magenta. So that's going to make up the actual vine. Then on top of those 4 piggies, because it's 4 piggies in a row, I was kind of testing to see how it would come out, because usually you want to throw a tube paint in there before you get to those kind of numbers of pigments. So I am doing a test, and then I put the standard acrylic, this is the permanent blue violet, down on top of the Comet and the other colors, just so there's an opaque paint for the cell activator to sit on. The cell activator is, 1 second. Boom, boom, I forgot to get it. Cell activator is the Prussian Blue by Amsterdam Standard Acrylics. So then for the actual flower part of the bloom, or what turned out to be the almost perfect butterfly, again, we're going back to the Rustoleum just to give a small base of that first. Then on top of the Rustoleum, I laid this fantastic color. It's a new one for me. This is Taffy. Gorgeous, gorgeous, deep, solid blue with a beautiful kind of metallic shimmer to it. So that's Taffy, that's going down first. Then on top of Taffy, we're putting another new one, this beautiful one here, Blue Eyes. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous light blue color. And it almost kind of interferes with the colors below it. And you'll see when we get to the bloom at the end. And then lastly, we're putting down This Little Piggy, and this one's called Funk. One of the opaques, one of the neon colors, and it's slightly UV reactive. Then on top of the Funk, we're going to put down again a little drizzle of the Amsterdam Standard Acrylic Permanent Blue Violet. And then the usual blue, Prussian Blue cell activator on top of that to actually make the bloom. Now, I'm gonna stop getting tongue-tied and waffling on. We're gonna zip it, we're gonna get the camera pointing down, and we're gonna carry on with painting, okay? Okay then friends, first thing I should mention is that that's a puddle of Glidden Premium in satin finish paint. And we're adding a few ounces of our black pouring medium, which is the Amsterdam Oxide Black and the Rustoleum glitter paint. And that's my little friend. Come here, buddy. Always jostling in on the voiceover. So, yes, I mix up around about 3 ounces of the Amsterdam Oxide Black paint in my pouring medium, and then add around about ½ ounce to 1 ounce of about ½ ounce to an ounce of the glitter paint. So you're gonna have to excuse my cat just barging in there, and now he's gone, so that's great. So I'm just adding the last bits of the oxide black and the Rustoleum glitter paint there to the pillow. And while we're waiting for me to do that, I would love to give a shout out to our group on Facebook, Acrylic Pouring for Beginners. I'd love to give a shout out to the main man, Amunji, and the other conductors of the train, besides myself, Christy, Darren, and Bridget. So I just found a little bit of schmutz in the paint, and we don't want that there. Now, I was a little worried at first that that wasn't enough black paint in the middle. As I've said, it was around about 3.5 to 4 ounces of the black paint, and I was a little overcautious, let's say, and then added this beautiful dioxazine purple just around the edge, just in case it wasn't quite enough. But as we'll find out, it was, and we lost pretty much all of the purple. But as you can see me there, friends, just giving the cradle a tap on the spinner, get out those last pesky bubbles, and then lining up my square cradle. Yes, square cradle on the square spinner top by the X that I draw on it from corner to corner. So now the first colour we are using here is a colour I'm using quite a lot of lately, just because it's great value and has a fantastic amount of pigment to it, and really is a great gold colour. This is Rustoleum Gold Mine, and this is the base to our vine. Gold mine for the vine. Just adding a little bit more, and to be honest, again, with the purple around the edge, I was a little heavy-handed with the Rustoleum here. I could have put down about half as much. But next we've got that beautiful TLP. This one's called S'mores. It's a beautiful, gorgeous, deep brown colour with a lovely gold shimmer, and to me makes up the kind of, the wood part of the actual vine, I feel anyway. And again, I'm a little heavy-handed with the s'mores as well, but we'll see how it comes out. So this next colour that I'm about to put down here, this one is the Seaweed. Lovely kind of seaweedy colour. Lovely kind of mid to dark green, and it has a gorgeous golden shimmer to it, and works really well, as we know, with the s'mores and the gold mine from the video before. So the vine is very similar to the video number 50. The only difference is here I added just a little sprinkling of Comet, which is a beautiful interference gold, magenta, red colour, just to see if it would just add a little extra depth and dimension to the vine. So the next colour we're putting down here now, it's Asparagus from TLP. Lovely lighter green colour with a beautiful shimmer to it. So this is the test, my friends. That's 4 piggies in a row, which is quite a lot to use in a row without putting a tube paint in between them. So I'm just seeing how this is going to stand up. So now the tube paint I'm putting down for the cell activator to sit on top is the Permanent Blue Violet by Amsterdam. And as I mentioned before, you can use a cell activator directly on top of piggies, but it will sink very quickly through the thinner pigments, and the cell structure, you can lose some of the cell structure this way. But if you put a small amount of an opaque paint down first, a tube paint, then your cell activator, you give the cell activator something to actually bite onto and hold onto, and stop it sinking so fast through the pigments. So in we go for a close-up for the blowout, my friends. Just trying to grab with my blow the cell activator and then the Prussian blue, the Permanent Blue Violet opaque paint, trying to grab them together and blow them over the colours. and it's working quite well. We have some nice cells popping up there, and it looks very good, like the Prussian Blue cell activator is just sitting nicely and holding on to that permanent blue violet. So the initial blowout there didn't quite go as I had planned, but when do they ever? So I'm just going to tinker around with it, blowing out little small spots here and there, just to get it give it a more organic and pleasing feel to the whole vine. So just trying to blow out a couple of those little edges to get some more leaves to the vine as such. Try to give it a little more detail and a little more interest. But as we all know, we can go too far with this, and we pass the point of stopping and saving it. But we're just going to watch as I carry on just blowing it out and making some modifications to this. And there we go. Should have stopped. Thumb down, yes. So if we just leave that for a minute, hopefully the pillow paint and the black and the purple will come underneath itself, and we'll get away with that little overblow. So now we're laying down just a nice little puddle of the Rustoleum goldmine as the base for our two blooms, or what turned out to be a pretty near perfect butterfly. So I figured I wanted two blooms on this vine, a large one kind of centered and then a smaller one just off to the side. Now this is the beautiful new TOP for me. This is Taffy. And remember guys, because when we blow these blooms out and then when we spin, they're going to expand quite a lot. We need to do them in proportion with the vine so they don't overtake the whole piece. Now this one is the beautiful new one, Blue Eyes. It almost has an interference quality to it. Kind of disappears at 45 degrees viewing and adds a beautiful light blue shimmer. So now this is the little drizzle of the Amsterdam Permanent Blue Violet. Again, just to give the cell activator, something to sit on, but also just to break the amount of piggies up. So that's two, that's Taffy and Blue Eyes. And then I've put down a little bit of a tube paint on both of the blooms. And now I'm putting down just a little bit of the TLP Funk. Now, as Funk is an opaque or a semi-opaque, it should be fine to have the cell activator used right on top of it. So there's the Prussian Blue cell activator, friends. Remember, we do these one at a time because the cell activator will start to sink immediately. Excuse the back of my head while I blow this out. It really is hard to get a good angle where you guys get a good view of what I'm doing, but also I can get in there and do what I need to do to make the bloom. Well, that's not looking too bad. Now there's second little bloom in the corner, small amounts of cell activator, and here we go to blow it out. Excuse the back of my head, friends. Excellent, that seemed to work quite well indeed. We'll just let that cell activator sink, maybe give it one or two more little blows to break it up, and try to get a more pleasing shape to the bloom. But already we can kind of see that near perfect butterfly that came out right in the middle of the piece. Just blowing the cell activator up. And we're going to start modifying after we do a couple more blows. I love grabbing the edge of blooms where there are just a few cells, blowing gently on them just to expand that little petal and expand the cells, make it look prettier. And I think we're about ready for some modifications. if I finished blowing it. Nope, a couple more. So in we go for some modifications, my friends. And as I said before, we can go in and just draw lines in the middle of some of our little petals to make them look more like flowers. And I've thought about doing all the modifications and the actual blowing in double speed time, so it makes the video shorter. But then I figured, who is actually able to ever learn at double speed? So this is why I have my videos now at real time, so you can see exactly how I do things, exactly how I lay the colours down, exactly how I blow them out, exactly how I modify them, and how long I spin them for. I just feel it gives you a better opportunity to learn in real time. So while we're watching me do these modifications, I'd love to tell you about an online course that I highly recommend. It's the SheleeArt course at sheleeart.com.au. I have a 15% off discount code, which I would love you to use, and you can learn so much from this online group. The online tutorials are in-depth and detailed, and you get to access them for over a year, so you can absorb them and do the whole course at your leisure. So in we are for the first spin, my friends. Again, leaving it in real time so you can see how long and how fast I spin for. Wow, the piece has grown nicely. And that bloom in the middle is spectacular. It's a shame the little one on the side, yeah, bye-bye. We're going to lose a little bit of it when we spin again. It's very tempting to leave them like this, my friends, but they very rarely dry without cracking with this much paint. So here's a nice close-up of the bloom in the middle. It worked rather beautifully, and as has been commented, looks more like a butterfly. So when we go for the second spin, again, real time, so you can see how long and how fast. I love giving the paint an extra amount of time to flow off the edge of the canvas and down the sides, just so we can try and keep a little more of the bloom structure over the edges of the canvas. But wow, came out rather pretty indeed. So here's a close-up, my friends, another nice close-up giving you the shimmers of the gold and the comet and the different TLPs there, looking pretty fantastic. So thank you, my friends, so much for joining me. Please like, subscribe, and share if you like what you see here. And above all, happy pouring.